So, years after a massage therapist sexually abused two women, his former employer has settled with one of those victims. So, court records show Couture Massage Therapy in Huntersville, Concord area recently settled a lawsuit for an undisclosed amount of money. The woman who filed the suit told our WCNC Charlotte's Nate Morabito that it was a last-minute decision to book a massage. And Nate is here in studio, and Nate, getting a chance to read your story. I mean, this is a decision that changed her life forever.
Yeah, I mean, this is a woman who used to go to a regular massage therapist, has chronic pain, and did this as a way to kind of ease some of that pain. And on the weekend that she scheduled this massage, her regular massage therapist was unavailable. So she picked someone else, and that person, during the massage, crossed the line and sexually abused her. In fact, a jury just last year found this man, James Burke, guilty of 2 counts of sexual battery. I want you to hear from Deborah Malagisi, because she is this woman who is incredibly brave, who's kind of held this way down for many years. This happened several years ago in 2022, and it just now got resolved in criminal court, and just in recent weeks, her lawsuit was settled. Now, we spoke to her back in April before this lawsuit against Couture Massage Therapy was settled, and she kind of walked us through about why she is doing this now, and hopeful that other people will hear what she says and maybe understand that they're not alone.
I have zero doubt that there are other women out there who have been assaulted, who have said nothing, and who carry it inside, and it'll eat you up. And the shame that comes with it, and the embarrassment, it's not really on the victim. It feels that way, and it's heavy. It's very heavy. But I want them to know they're not alone. And just to speak up, if you can, and find their voice. And I want to reclaim my narrative. And this is my only opportunity.
Yeah, wow.
So let's give major credit to Deborah for sitting down and talking with us. And actually, this was part of a series of reports we're working on. On this day, we interviewed 4 women who all were sexually abused by massage therapists. And this was me and our photojournalist, Ken Shermer. So you have 2 men who are journalists sitting down, talking with 4 women. You can tell just from listening to Deborah how difficult this was just to even get to this point. But then to sit there and to trust us, and to know that what we're trying to accomplish is what they're trying to accomplish here, to protect other women and make sure the systems that are in place in our state protect other women. And to also know that we deeply care. We all have family members or wives or girlfriends, whatever it might be, daughters, grandmas, whoever, that we don't ever want to see get in the same situation. And I told you this went through criminal court. She had filed a lawsuit alleging negligence last year, towards the end of last year. In that lawsuit, you hear her kind of talk about, you feel like it's your shame, like this isn't your fault, right?
Yeah.
In that lawsuit, before it was settled, Couture Massage Therapy essentially blamed her and said that she was the one that was negligent for not ending the massage and not protecting herself. And we all know that when you go into a place where you're in a vulnerable position and you're, kind of at the mercy of somebody with power, it could be anything, doctor, teacher, whatever, that there are safeguards in place to protect you. And she told us when she was laying there on the table and the sexual abuse began, she felt frozen. She couldn't move. And here's the hardest part for her, really, too, is that 2 months later, this man sexually abused someone else at the same business.
So it's guilt, I guess, she was feeling.
There's some guilt there,
Yeah.
too. But long before these women went to get their massages there were red flags about this particular massage therapist. We've reviewed court records, testimony that showed that this man was employed in several Charlotte area massage therapy businesses and was actually fired from one in 2020 after multiple complaints. He said basically in court they were unfounded. But at one point, court records show he had to be trained about making sure his body didn't touch other people's bodies during the massages. And, this also leaves the question, why aren't these businesses reporting it when this happens? It is the rule here in North Carolina that if you're a licensed facility, you are required within 5 business days to report any kind of sexual activity to the state board. Even if you don't report it to police, you still have to report it to them. In this case, the very first complaints came from Deborah Malagese and the other woman who was abused in this massage therapy business. And I'll tell you, we did reach out to the business's attorney. They said that there's a confidential settlement agreement in this situation, but it has been resolved, and kind of all parties have come to an agreement, essentially, on the terms of this settlement.
Based on her claims, is there a database? Is there a system to check if there are bad actors in these massage places?
Yes, I mean, if it's reported. And let me tell you this,
it has to
too.
be reported.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, Couture Massage Therapy said in their response to this lawsuit and in court, they did a background check and did not find any complaints with the state board against this man. So essentially, they said, we did our due diligence and didn't see any red flags there. If you were to go to the North Carolina Massage Board and Bodywork Board, there is a way to search a person's license, a massage therapist license. You can also search an institution. And if you were to look up Jamez Burke in this case, I don't know, Carlene, if you want to try to do that, if you want to Google North Carolina Massage and Bodywork Board license information, I'm going to walk people through how to do this. Because if it's in the system, if it's been reported, if there's been some kind of action against someone, then it will be a public record. And in this case, if you were to type in a massage therapist's name, eventually it'll populate. Now, he's surrendered his license. He surrendered his license in 2023 amid this criminal investigation, this court case, which, by the way, he's denied ever doing any sexual activity. Just last week, the Court of Appeals here in North Carolina upheld his conviction. He's a sex offender for the next 30 years. He's a registered sex offender. He also was sentenced to 60 days behind bars. Have you been able to find it, Carlene? Because I want to show kind of what you can do there. If you want to pull it up on the screen, that'd be great.
Here we go.
Okay, so so if you want to look for, go back for one second there. Basically, you're looking for license information here. I always use Google. I don't go straight to the website because it's never easy to find it. But you're looking for basically a license search. And if you can go back to Google, maybe, Carlene, it might be easier for you to just search license verification. All right, let's click on that. Verification status. Now click the very first online verification tab there. Yeah, I'm having trouble seeing it, but it's the very top one. Okay. Okay, so write last name B-U-R-K-E.
Is that a little bit better?
Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you. And then first name J-A-M-E-Z. Now, you can do this with anyone. Before you go to get a massage, I'd recommend you do this. And really, with anything, any kind of service provider, dentist, nurse, whatever, do this because I think it's very helpful. Not on the massage and bodywork page, but every kind of body has an agency that's governing them, that's regulating.
Yeah.
So click on actions. You see actions to the far right,
Yes.
the details there. Click on details. And you're going to see that there's a document there, license surrendered. And if you click on the PDF, it's going to make you download it. And you'll be able to see the details of this case. And it'll talk about, it doesn't release the victims' names, but if you scroll down there, you'll see the findings of fact that show that there were 2 complaints filed against this man. And eventually, he surrendered his license. Denied any wrongdoing, but surrendered his license. Such a valuable tool. But to these women's credit, this wouldn't have been available to them at the time.
Right.
Now, if someone had said, hey, he was inappropriately touching me and let's say you're the victim, if you report that and the business is aware of it and investigates it, nowadays that has to be reported to the state board. There's a little bit of kind of question of, well, when did the rules change? When were licensing? When did that start? It's kind of all happened a little bit before and during the pandemic here in North Carolina. But at the end of the day, the idea is that if you're a bad actor, if you see something, you mandatorily have to report it. You're a mandatory reporter. And it certainly doesn't feel like anyone was ringing the bell about this guy when those previous complaints happened. Now, he was fired at that prior job, for example, and he was fired at this job. But at this job, it took the two victims reporting what happened to them to the state board. Under the rules, if you're a licensed facility, you are the one that has to make that reporting as well.
One last question before I let you go, Nate, and thank you for that, because I didn't know, Carlene, I don't know if you knew, I think the average person watching this right now who will watch this don't know you could do that. But you told me sort of the process that you and Sherman went through, the interviews. What was your biggest takeaway? Because this is a very sensitive subject. This is a very heavy subject matter. What was your takeaway?
I mean, I think that victims, particularly victims of sexual abuse, do not always feel heard. You know? When they don't feel helped either, really. They feel like someone should be kind of guiding them through a very complicated and sensitive process. And you don't always get that. And there's a couple reasons for that. Let's say you're going through the criminal case, you're the victim in a criminal case. Prosecutors generally do not want to mess up their criminal case. They want to secure a conviction. But at the same time, look how long criminal cases take. And if you feel like you've been wronged, you have a right to restitution, to file a lawsuit, to damages. You can argue for that. And people aren't always saying, hey, while your case is going into the criminal case, you should be talking to an attorney on the side as well. Or have you filed a report with the state board? I feel like these women felt alone in many ways, and it was amazing because they've kind of formed what they called a sisterhood. When we were there was a real bond between them because of what's happened to them, but because of also their mission of trying to protect other people. It's something they really hold dearly. And it was just so powerful because you have people from all walks of life who unfortunately have been brought together by the actions of people, not even by their own actions, by the actions of men who made criminal and wrong decisions and violated them. And instead of sitting there and saying, I feel ashamed, this is my fault, they're saying, no, 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 no. This is these men's fault, and we're trying to protect other people. We're not ashamed about it. In fact, we're stronger now. It's been a very difficult road, but we have an enormous strength. And that to me was the biggest takeaway of all, is just their strength and their interest in doing this so that other people are protected.
Man, a powerful story there. Nate, when can folks, story is online right now.
It's not online yet, actually.
The web article.
It up.
The web article is, okay.
It's
okay,
not
okay.
yet. No. WCNC.com. It will be probably tonight.
I'm so used to you by the time you come here.
We're still refining it a bit.
Okay.
Checking over some things, but that'll be probably 7 or 8 o'clock tonight.
Okay.
The full story airs tonight at 11 o'clock on
Gotcha.
WCNC. I'll be on TV today at 5:30 talking about this as well. But we'll get it up as soon as we can for the web story because I do want people to see this and to hear from these women. And by the way, this isn't the only story. We're working on other stories. In fact, there's a series of emails that I've already drafted that will be going out tomorrow to some other businesses about another massage therapist. And we've been asking for weeks, by the way, to the North Carolina Massage and Bodywork Board for an interview on this very topic because they are the backstop here. Mm-hmm. They're the ones to make sure they're enforcing the rules that are there and making sure they're doing as much as they can to protect themselves. Thus far, our interview request has not been granted. We're going to be persistent about it. I'm going to stay on it. I know I just called them last week trying to figure out what's going on with our request. We have been able to get some information from them in prior weeks, but we really want to be able to sit down and figure out what are they doing to help protect these people too. And it's also on these businesses. And like I said, we'll be here talking about this in the coming weeks again. about another case. And in that case, one woman is abused. She reports it. 2 more women are abused. Think about that.
Wow.
So what's happening here? The system isn't working if that's the case.
Man, Nate Morabito, as I always say, doing the job of the people. Thank you for that story. Make sure you catch that story. It'll be up on our website and our app, mobile app, as soon as Nate can get it up and catch the full story at 11 o'clock. You don't want to miss that. Nate, as always, thank you for stopping in.
Appreciate you.
I know a very sensitive subject matter.